going to wait for technology to catch up to me and make sure that we are simulcasting in both places, both on Facebook and on my YouTube channel for this big, fat, huge anniversary episode of Tarot by Hilary Live. So stay tuned for the introductions and who the hell am I if this is the first time you're viewing. And if it is not the first time you're viewing, welcome back, regular viewer. I wouldn't be able to do this for a year without you guys. So hold on. Let me make sure that everything's working and everything's copacetic before I go into my regular spiel. Actually. Give me a second. Love these features. Let us make sure. Looks like we're good. Surround sound. All right, it looks like we're good. Let me make sure I put that over there so that I'm not not messing things up. But it looks like we are simulcasting to both places. I'm seeing a bunch of people logging on. So hello to Dylan, hello to Katie, hello Brooke. Hold on, let me go ahead and hide this and put my face big. And let me go ahead and say hello to everybody. Hi, Dylan. Hi, Katie. Hi, Brooke. Nice to see everyone. So now that I know that everything is running and copacetic, welcome. My name is Hilary. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Brooke. Yes, I made sure to do my makeup specially for you guys. And if you're wondering what I'm wearing, I'll grab my palette for you and I'll grab my lashes for you. I'll tell you everything that I'm wearing, like the red carpet, right? Hi, Lisa. Hello. Okay, so introductions. If you're new here, and also if you're a regular, welcome. Hello, I am Hilary, professional tarot reader, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most basic and beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. And before you argue with me, we've been doing this for about a year, guys. You have intuition. I firmly believe that everybody has intuition. Yes, Katie, yes, we'll talk about the eyelashes, right? We'll talk about the eyelashes. They're annoying, but they really do make a difference. I didn't think I had tiny lashes until I put on the falsies, and now I'm just like, yeah, I do have tiny lashes. So welcome to everybody. This is my weekly show that I've been doing every Friday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on tarot topics, divination topics, mystical topics, basically whatever you guys want to learn about the tarot. I'm your girl, and you know, by popular request, we've done different episodes. And so this particular episode of Tarot by Hilary Live is a big anniversary party for a year's worth of weekly episodes. So there isn't a specific topic for tonight besides let's talk about the episodes that really helped you this year. Let's talk about the episodes that you learned a lot from, or what your favorite episodes were. And also we will get to some free readings, which I don't normally do because normally I'm teaching the topic that you requested. But since it's a celebration, I will be probably doing one question, one card readings, which is for each question that you put in the chat. I will pull a tarot card for that question to answer that question. Now, keep this in mind. It's one per person so that I can accommodate everyone's requests. You may not get read today if there's a lot of people that are asking questions. First come, first served. And just to head off any disappointment at the past, guys, like I do this every week for the past year. I'm going to continue to do it. But the real purpose of these episodes is to bring you free workshops about different divination topics, not to give away freebies. So, be cool. Because we have had some not so nice experiences with entitled people dropping into the broadcast who has never seen an episode, don't really care, don't read the description, just like, give me a free reading now. And it's just like, no. So if you're nice, you'll get a free reading. If you're not, the door's right over there, and don't let your ass hit it on the way out. Okay? Okay. So all of my regular viewers are just like, yep. Like, we know. So let's talk. Oh, okay. First of all, does anyone need the astro weather for today and for this weekend first? Because normally what we'll do is we'll do the astro weather from Teresa, then I'll teach my class, and then at the end of the episode, I do a weekend forecast. With all these free readings that might be happening, the weekend forecast may not happen depending on how many, readings I get asked to do. But let's talk about the astro weather because I feel like it's probably beneficial. So let me add that item here. Astro weather from Teresa. Oh, I'm going to have to. Give me a second here. Let's do the astro weather before we get into the favorite episodes from the past year, okay? All right. Let me just go ahead and pull that up because once again, it was just such a busy day that I didn't even look at the AstroBiz Digest, which is her wonderful subscription service that she does, where she gives astrology for the month and the week, and it's geared towards entrepreneurs, but I found it to be very, very helpful personally as well. So there was a new moon in Virgo yesterday on the 17th at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is excellent for starting new routines and habits, decluttering, cleaning up desktop, online life, editing, writing projects, setting intentions around order, efficiency, routines, and business systems. So that's the new moon in Virgo that happened yesterday. Sound good, everyone? Everyone got that? So for Friday, relatively calm. Brainstorm new ideas, 12:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when the moon is sextile with Venus. Marvelous for creative jam sessions, so make sure your time is devoted to that. Close up shop at 6:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when the moon squares Jupiter. It's too easy to get distracted at this time by the news. Something big and legal may be up. So that's happening right now, guys. So watch out. Don't get distracted, or there might be something happening that's big in possibly in the news. Conjunction with the moon and Mercury at 10:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time has the talking heads busy all evening. Turn off the news and get to bed early. Power day for Libra, weekday for Aries. Well, that might be the reason why I've been kind of frazzled all day today, because I'm an Aries. I guess that affects me more so than others. Let me turn my camera away from my pile of clean laundry, clean clothing. All right. So this weekend, so Saturday starts out rough. Again, this is from Teresa Reed's AstroBiz Digest. Saturday starts out rough. The cosmos is looking to pick a fight, making this morning best for sleeping in. Everything gets rolling at 2:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when the moon slips into mysterious Scorpio. This sets the perfect stage for a weekend spent strategizing new plans or managing your business financials. Sunday's aspects in the day are no better than Saturday mornings, making this another day for taking it slow or taking off completely. The evening improves when the moon makes a sextile with Jupiter at 6:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a great time for travel, teaching, or broadcasting your message to the world. Intuitive insights prove to be valuable when the moon trines Neptune at 9:47 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Trust your gut at this time and be sure to write down your dreams. There may be inspiration coming through in the middle of the night. Saturday is a power day for Libra, weekday for Aries, and Sunday is a power day for Scorpio, weekday for Taurus. So that is your astro weather from Teresa Reed, aka the Tarot Lady. Yes, she primarily does tarot readings, but she also is an excellent astrologer. And you can find her at www.thetarotlady.com. So anybody resonating particularly with those for that astro weather? Have you been experiencing kind of funkiness today, or funkiness this week, actually? Because it's been a little funky. I had a really bad migraine on Thursday. And though I don't want to blame astrology for that, I'm going to blame astrology for that. Because sometimes with the new moon and the full moon, it's either energizing or incredibly draining. And sometimes I don't know what it's going to be until I'm feeling it that day. And also let me know if you can still hear me and see me, because sometimes technology gets a little bit wonky around the new moons and the full moon. Yep. Katie's saying off week, just weird. Yep. It's been weird. It has been weird. Absolutely. Anybody else? Okay, Brooke's saying, I felt super tired when I woke up. I have had a lot of headaches, not today though. Yep. I'm right there. I'm right there with you. So it could be the atmosphere, it could be the barometric pressure, or it could be the astrology as well. Now, I know that before we segue into the favorite episodes from the past year, I know that someone commented prior to the start of the episode about an episode that really helped them, which was about the 5s and the 7s. But now, of course, I cannot find that comment because it's not coming up in my Be Live app. So let me take a look and see if it was just coming from elsewhere. Excuse me. Why can't I see it? Maybe it was over on one of my other posts. What's going on? Yeah, I know. It was you, Katie, right? Talking about the 5s and the 7s. I don't know if you dropped it in here or if Facebook is just being a little bit silly right now and only having that for like a separate post. I don't know. Facebook's been weird lately, especially with their with the new stuff that they've been rolling out, like the new view or the new layout. So it might be that it's just buried underneath some of my other posts. Let me go ahead and find it. But I know it was about the 5s and the 7s. Yeah, here it is. Yeah. Here it is. Here it is. Super weird. So yeah, Katie said, thankful that we did the 5s and the 7s to the max. It was helpful to see it with assistance, saw more than I had before. Also good to see the process other people go through when looking at a card. Yeah, so let's start with that episode. And just like, let's put that in there. Hold on a second. Yeah, it was in another post. So, and I pinned that post to the top of the my page so that everyone could see when I go live for the big, anniversary bash episode. But I think I might have pinned the wrong thing. I don't know. Let me see. Let me see if I can pin this right now. And if I can't, oh well. Yeah, pin to the top of the page. I'm going to pin this one to the top of the page now. And let's see if that refreshes. Not that you'll see it right now because you guys are in it right now. There we go. Okay, good, good, good. All right. Very bizarre, right? So that episode, let me see if I can find. I kind of wanted to do different, like the different features for Be Live to like show some of these episodes at the same time and maybe comment on them a little bit. But all of the episodes are really like long, like an hour long. So let's just talk about those briefly. And then if we need to go back to the videos, we can. So I'm going to add that here, 5s and 7s. Not 5s of 7s, 5s and 7s of the tarot. So that's Katie's pick for one of the more helpful episodes. Let me see here. Actually, I think I can do that. I think I can do it through YouTube. I definitely can do it through YouTube, guys. Let me just double check. One of these days, I'm going to figure this out. Yeah, because, by the way, guys, the full playlist that's in the archives on here on Facebook and also the playlist that's over on YouTube, it is 35 videos. So remember that we're doing this a little bit late. Originally, we were supposed to do this anniversary episode like right on the anniversary of exactly a year. But I think I was on vacation that week, and then the next week after that was September 11th, which I didn't think was going to be appropriate to do a celebratory episode on that date. So, all right. So 5s and the 7s. All right. I'm seeing some more feedback here. So let me go to the 5s and the 7s. By the way, the 5s and the 7s, guys, that's all together with part 1 and part 2 was 4 hours worth of information. Because I'm looking really, really quickly. And part 1 was 1 hour and 33 minutes, and part 2 was 2 hours and 21 minutes. So like when people are saying we did a deep dive on the 5s and the 7s of the tarot, we sure as shit did. That was a lot of information. So let me see if I can scroll through. It was a lot of information. It was just a lot of information. Let's see. Yeah, I have a feeling that some of these episodes are not going to show up that quickly because they're large. They're large episodes, so it might not be readily available. hold on, let me see what else I have in the staging over here. Yeah, this, let me show you. So that's the thumbnail for it if you guys want to go and check it out. And I will provide a link to all of the past workshops if you guys want to check it out. You don't have to check out just the episodes that we're talking about here for favorite episodes, but you may want to start there if those episodes seem interesting to you, or if they're a topic that you were already thinking about learning. So the 5s and the 7s is a 2-part episode by popular request, because a lot of people were having difficulty with the 5s and the 7s, with differentiating what makes the 5s the 5s, what makes the 7s the 7s, what's the difference between those two, like the 5 of swords versus the 7 of swords. And as I said in that particular episode, if they were the same thing, there wouldn't be 2 different sets of cards. So comment was more of a question from one of my tarot intuitive students, which is my yearly about a month long deep dive into the tarot, my online course. And so I have on Facebook the Tarot Intuitive Reading Exchange, which I monitor very closely, which is a group for people that have gone through my course, but also people that I know are diviners, psychics, intuitives. I also have them in the group. So if people want to meet up and exchange readings for practice, they can, and they can do so in a private environment that's safe. Because sometimes it's very scary to practice your newfound tarot skills with complete strangers. So I'm kind of like vetting those people that are in that group. So if you want to join that group, just let me know. Message me privately, and I will add you or attempt to add you to the group, because I think I have to friend request you on my personal page first to be able to add you to groups, if I'm remembering correctly. Or I can send you the link. I will figure it out. Anyway, one of my tarot intuitive students asked me the following question. I'm studying minor arcana suits by number. 5s and 7s both say conflict. How is it different? Only that the 7 happens to be further along in the journey. Why are the 5s and the 7s so difficult for me to understand? That's basically the common thread we've got going on here. So Katie says yay. As to the comments, yay. So the 5s and the 7s of the tarot, and this is part of the reason why I want to show you, like, this is the reason why I use this third-party app. It's Be Live, by the way. If you want more information about Be Live, I can probably share that with you. I used to have a sharing tool, like I need my notes for this one. So this is just a tip for understanding difficult cards. Like use the imagery that's on there, because the imagery is meant to be that language that we use to interpret and then assign meaning as to the context of the reading. So is that better? My answer to the original question from my tarot intuitive student, I would say that yes, with the 7s, you are a bit further along in the journey. When we're talking about the minor arcana is numbered for each suit, ace, which would be 1 to 10, 1 to 10. When you have an ace, you're at the beginning of a situation. When you're at 5, you're in the middle of the situation. So sometimes that is a good thing, and sometimes you're halfway in, but you're also halfway out. And then the 10 would be the accumulation or the ending of that situation. This can be done for timing. This can be done for as a way to bring out further meaning in the context of the reading. So keep that in mind when we're talking about both the 5s and the 7. So basically what I was trying to say there, and thank you, Katie, for chiming in about the echo kind of effect that was going on. It was probably because you're hearing it piped in both internally through the computer, through the system, and then also externally through my speakers. So I just threw on my headphones. So yeah. And again, this is Be Live, which is a third-party broadcasting app, and it's the reason why I look so professional doing this. It is a subscription. You can renew it every year. In fact, I'm probably going to need to renew it in the next couple of days, because I've been doing it for a year. So the first couple of episodes, I did not have a subscription to Be Live. And then I started to use it. I used the trial, and I really like what it does. I mean, we have these little overlays. I can show different videos. I can display, as you can see in the video that I'm displaying right now, I can display different images, and then it really helps me to teach some of these tarot concepts and put the tarot cards side by side, which is one of the techniques that I recommended in that episode 5s and the 7s of the tarot. Is anytime you have a difficult card, if it's a minor arcana, lay out all the 5s, lay out all the 7s, lay out both the 5s and the 7s, lay out the 5 and the swords and the 7 of swords together, or the 5 of swords and the 5 of wands, and see the similarities and see the differences. And that will help with your interpretation of those difficult cards. You can even do this with major arcana as well if you have multiple tarot decks. If you don't have multiple tarot decks, you can easily do a Google image search for different versions of the Hierophant, for example, or the Moon, or the Devil, or the Fool, and see how different tarot decks interpret visually that particular tarot card. Because remember, you do have the structure of the tarot, which does not change across a tarot deck. It's just interpreted a little bit differently in different thematic decks. For example, the Gummy Bear Tarot, or the Zombie Tarot, or the Game of Thrones Tarot, they're all going to have a 5 of Wands or a 5 of Spears. They're all going to have a Fool card, or maybe the Fool is renamed the Seeker. But they are going to still follow that structure of a tarot deck. So you can use different tarot decks to inform your interpretations of the different tarot cards. And give me 1 second because my phone line is ringing. Sorry, guys. Hi, Mom. I'm doing my live show. Can I call you back? Okay, I'll call you back. Bye. Truly, truly, truly a live show, guys. I try and remind her every week that I do this every week, and she always calls me when I'm doing a live show. So, moms. So what was I saying? Okay, so tips for understanding difficult cards. You can do this with any card that you are having difficulty with, any tarot card, whether it's major arcana or minor arcana, by comparing the cards to each other within a tarot deck or across tarot decks. So that's my main point. Sorry for getting distracted there. See, the astrology is right, guys. All right, so that's the 5s and the 7s of the tarot. You can definitely check out those 2 episodes. That is 4.5 hours worth of content, deep diving into the 5s and the 7s of the tarot. So that's all I'm going to say about that particular episode, because we don't want it to be a long, long episode citing our favorite episodes, because I actually am booked for a phone reading tonight. So I do have a cutoff point so that I can prepare for that reading. And also we want to get to some free 1-card readings too. So that is that. All right. So, okay, so Lisa's calling out the boundaries episode. Yeah, the boundaries episode, that was that week was an awful, awful week for me. Like a really, really bad week. And it was mostly because I wasn't enforcing my own boundaries. I was getting really floppy and flimsy with my boundaries. And because of that, I was getting really aggravated with people stepping on my boundaries, because it was like kind of their fault, but also kind of my fault for not enforcing my boundaries or not realizing that my boundaries were crossed until like after the fact. And I was also teaching my coven that particular topic, that episode, that workshop on boundaries. So I ended up, I think, teaching that class twice that week, possibly 3 times. And that was kind of like a surprise episode on boundaries. So I can show you that particular episode. Actually, I've done 2 episodes on boundaries. So that episode was Boundaries Part 2, which was about an hour and a half long, but the first episode on boundaries was about a half an hour. But this particular episode had a very sexy PowerPoint. So I can show you that. Hold on. And I'm just gonna try and clear out some of my staging stuff as I finish them. So let's take a look at boundaries. Hi. The case, we're not taught about this. Practitioner, I can see the slides. Okay, cool. So a lot of this stuff, and I'm just going to go through these slides really, really quickly because I didn't really plan on teaching this tonight. But hey, if it's useful to you guys, absolutely. So the name of this particular presentation that I did, it was called Boundary Setting for Witches, but honestly, it's just boundary setting, and just being aware that if you are a magical practitioner, it's almost as if boundaries are even more important if you're a magical practitioner, because you've got not only the mundane or the logical levels of boundary setting, you also then have the magical or the energetic levels too. Like, for example, a magical circle is a boundary to contain what you want in that circle, and also protect that circle from any outer energies that might take away or impact negatively on what you're trying to do within the circle. She's right. So boundary setting, a lot of this, I quote Brene Brown a lot in this particular presentation. So just, if you're not a Brene Brown fan, you're probably not going to like what I have to say. Just letting you know. So daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others. Let me see if I can use my pointer on here too. So this portion of it is why I think that sometimes we set weak boundaries. It's because we're afraid of disappointing others, or we're afraid that the answer is going to be no, or we have that feeling of needing to set ourselves on fire to keep other people warm. If that resonates for you, go ahead and smash those heart emojis. Let me know. Basically, where is my where is that slide? Just say hell boundaries. Yeah, we'll get to the family shit, because this is something that we have both of those things. Not to respond to work messages. Your feelings are how you feel. There's no wrong way to feel about a situation or about a person. Sometimes you feel a way and you don't know the reason why. You just know that's how you feel. So I'm going to shut up, or I'm going to shut passed Hilary up. So basically, the boundaries episode was an extension or part 2 of another episode that I did. But because I had already created that PowerPoint that very week, or presented that very week to my coven, and I mentioned it in passing during this kind of like check-in episode that we were having for the weekly episode. I was just like, oh, okay, are people interested in that? All right, I'll present it again. But the bottom line about boundaries is, boundaries are telling people what is okay, what is not okay, and to some degree why. But that why portion of it is really up to you. And I feel like we get into trouble as people a lot over explaining our boundaries in order to try and make a point, and it actually ends up weakening our boundary instead of strengthening our boundary. Sometimes just no is a complete sentence, and I'm not doing that is a boundary. You don't have to explain why that boundary exists. It does. It just exists. And the bottom line I want to talk about with boundaries before we move on to another episode is, as soon as you set a boundary, be prepared to enforce that boundary, like straight away. That is what I know to be incredibly true every single time I've had to do boundary work. Get ready to enforce that boundary as soon as you set it, because it feels as if it's an energetic agreement, or the universe is coming up to test you right away. Like, are you sure? Are you sure you want to set that boundary? Are you sure this is important to you? Okay. So Katie agrees. Yes, boundaries was excellent. And we all need reminders with boundaries, just to remind ourselves to keep them up. We forget until someone takes advantage of them. Absolutely. So that's the boundaries episode. So I'm glad that really resonated with people. It's interesting that that's one of the episodes that's not entirely like tarot specific, but hey, as long as it's helpful, that's my emphasis, is presenting stuff that is helpful. It doesn't have to be divination related. It doesn't have to be tarot related, because I mean, we're all human and we're all having very similar experiences. And sometimes in those experiences, we feel very isolated or very alone, when it turns out if we just reach out or we just speak up, we realize that there are other people that are having the exact same experience. And not in the way of saying like misery loves company or anything, but those experiences that you feel like are so specific to you, and that only you can feel these feelings, or only you can understand that experience. It's simply not true. Sometimes our brain lies to us and makes us feel more alone than we actually are. So I'm happy to be able to give voice to some of my struggles, which is definitely on boundaries, and to realize that, you know, I don't have all the answers, but just having, just sharing my experience about boundaries, if that's helpful to people, then I'm going to continue to do it. So Dina is talking about the bridge spread. The bridge spread is a keeper. So yeah, let's go to that one. It was a very fun technique. Let me scroll back and look for the bridge technique. And guys, these are some recent episodes. So that's great that the recent episodes, of course, are at the top of your brain. But let's go back a little bit and see some of the earlier episodes too, because some of this I didn't even remember that I taught already. And then I go to teach it again and I'm just like, oh, we already have this episode. But, you know, this might just be a part 2 of that episode. So that bridge technique was an hour and 40 minutes of a lot of different examples. And actually, I remember one of those examples ended up to being like incredibly pertinent for someone's friend, like not someone that was viewing, but a friend of theirs that's a regular viewer. ended up passing along that information to them, which was helpful, I think, for writer's block, if I'm remembering correctly. So in short, this episode was about a technique that I learned, and I don't remember, like, I really want to credit this person, whoever it was, but I can't remember. And every time I've tried to give credit to the people that I thought taught me this, they're just like, nope, that wasn't me. And I'm like, ah! So I credited Mary Kay Greer. She's like, nope, that's not me. I credited Rachel Pollack. She said, nope, that's not me either. Teresa Reed, Thalassa. So I just credit all of my teachers. And if you were the teacher that taught me this technique, please email me, reach out to me, let me know that it was you, so that I can properly credit you. This might just be something that's, roaming around the collective and unconscious, but let's see if I can get into this video. All right, and we've got a thing about reversals. Yeah, that reversals, I think, was a while ago. That was a very short episode too, because basically reversals to me is if you want to use reversals, do it. If you don't want to use reversals, you don't have to use reversals. It's like completely your choice, but let's see. To make sure. Let's vaguely look at it in order. Anyway, so whether you're looking on here or you're looking at Pinterest, thank you for bearing with me, folks. Little tech troubles. But I told you, this is live, at least live as of right now. So let me just speed things up a little bit here. So what you would do is you would take a final outcome card that you don't really like, and you take the final outcome card, the offending final outcome card. I usually do this if it's a final outcome card out of the Celtic cross spread, but it doesn't have to be the Celtic cross spread. It's basically any tarot spread that you have a final outcome position in it. And if you don't like that final outcome, this is the technique to use. Just remember that this technique may not work every single time, and we did talk about that in that episode. But you take the final outcome card, you place it down into the first position. You then flip the tarot deck face up, and you look through the tarot deck consciously and specifically to find the tarot card that more represents your final outcome card, or the final outcome card that you would want in that situation. You don't necessarily need to know your tarot cards in order to do this. You can actually work with your client if you are reading for someone and help them out. But sometimes it is just looking at the card and saying, "Oh, I like this card," or "I like what I think this card represents," and then work with that client to be like, "Oh yeah, I think that would be a good final outcome card to work towards." So you would put that card in the third position, and then you flip the deck back over and you shuffle up the deck to basically ask the question, how can I get from this final outcome card that I don't like to the final outcome card that I have just consciously chosen from the tarot deck? And then you put that card that you pull in the middle position, and that is your next reading. So it's like kind of a modified 3-card reading in order to get yourself, reimagine your final outcome card into something that you would prefer. So if that sounds intriguing to you, go ahead and check out that episode from the archives or the playlist from YouTube. Reversals was an interesting episode. Basically, what I was saying a little bit before is you don't have to read with reversals. And I really do wish, and I think we did talk about this in a Clardslinger Coast to Coast podcast episode about reversals, where I think all three of us, Jamie and Melissa and myself, my wonderful co-hosts and I, all were just like, I wish I had known when I first started tarot reading that I didn't have to read with reversals if I didn't want to. But we were, we were caught up in the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Like, if you're a real tarot reader, quote unquote, whatever that means, that you should be able to read with reversals. And now in my old age, not really that old, or at least I don't feel that old, it's bullshit. And you should really use the tools and tarot is your tool to access your intuition. Use what works for you and discard the rest. If reading with reversals doesn't work with you, or if you don't see the cards in that way, you don't have to read with reversals. In fact, there are quite a few of my friends that are readers that feel the reversal energy, reversal interpretation energetically, instead of needing that visual. For me, I read with reversals and I like the visual. I like that it is actually upside down, and because of that visual, I can then show my client, like, this is like, look how the cups are overturned with it being reversed. Like, this can mean that you are energetically depleted, or that could mean that there's love going out of this situation, or there's energy going out of the situation, or you cannot fill up your cup right now because it's overturned and we need to write this energy. So reversals don't have to be an outright negation of the upright meaning. They can represent a miscommunication or a blockage to that energy. And that's how I read reversals. And then I think we worked a little bit with different types of cards to show what a reversed meaning might look like. So let me find that in the playlist and bring that up. I feel like reversals were one of the possibly older. Yes. Last year. December 30th, 2019. I don't know if that's when I originally broadcast that, though. It might have been when I uploaded it to YouTube. So just saying. Oh, not that one. Not that one. And this was broadcasting from my closet episode.
Hey, everybody.
Very, very short. And not everyone reads in exactly the same way. And you don't have to read in the same way either. You do not have to read with reversals if you don't want to. I do have another video that I do have on my YouTube channel.
Listen to the lady.
About shuffling in order to integrate reversals into your tarot deck if you want to do them. So I'm going to do that really quickly here. Because I had that video queued up, but I don't have the other video that I'm talking about queued up. So I'm going to give you a quick example on how to introduce reversals into your shuffling if you do want to read with reversals. So, hi, Dina. Nice to see you. And Katie also has a question, I believe, around this. So, let me go ahead and tackle her question right now, because I believe I'm going to answer it while showing you how to shuffle. So Katie asked ahead of the broadcast, and it's gonna cut out here. This episode, I'm very curious to see. My question is, how do you go about shuffling and drawing your cards when reversals are in them? Some people turn their cards from the top over, and others turn their cards from the side. If reversals are being used, this becomes important, as they are not, and if they are not using reversals, any reversal appearing is just righted. Interested in both shuffling and drawing the cards to include reversals, please. So so Katie was already in the broadcast and watched that broadcast. So I answered Katie's question about that. But the quick answer was I didn't really think about that and we are going to be doing actually a Card Slingers Coast to Coast episode on like how we do what we do, because it is kind of like it's getting back to basics, but at the same time, it's like I love these kind of questions because I don't really think about it. I just do it. I'm at that stage in my tarot reading practice where it's just like I did have this fear at the beginning when I was doing readings of doing something wrong, but now I have this routine, this rhythm. So what Katie was basically asking was like, how do you pull? Do you pull like this, like from the and flip? Because if you do it that way, that means that whatever energetically was reversed is now righted. Or vice versa. If a card was reversed and then you pull it this way, it's then righted. Like this was, if I pulled from the side, it would be the Seven of Cups reversed. But if I pull like so, the Seven of Cups would be upright. So that was basically the question that Katie was asking. And I think how I answered was it's just like, it's a conscious choice on how you pull your cards. And I feel like whatever it's supposed to be will be, if you choose to do it this way, or if you choose to do it this way. And I would say experiment and see which feels more comfortable for you. And then just continue to do it that way. So for me, gosh, I don't even know which way I do it at this point because it's just second nature to me. So I don't know. Sometimes I don't even realize I'm pulling like so or like so. But I think generally speaking, I'll usually go from the side instead of like flipping over. So yeah. So that's the reversals episode. Basically, in short, if you want to read with reversals, watch that episode for some tips and tricks on how to read with reversals. And if you don't want to read with reversals, don't watch that episode because it's not for you. You don't have to read with reversals. That's the bottom line. Yes. So great. Dina's actually hitting upon one of the episodes that I want to talk about, but let's go with Katie's first. There's an episode where we worked out our tarot card for the year using our birthdays. That was fascinating and made so much sense. For previous years. Yes. So that was the episode about goal setting with the tarot. And I believe we used Mary Kay Greer's excellent book, Who Are You in the Tarot, formerly called Tarot Constellations, because you are not just one card. So we calculated our year cards for the year 2020, the upcoming year. This was kind of like a entering into the year 2020. And I mean, of course, hindsight is also 2020. So it's very interesting to see like go back and watch that episode, especially if you worked alongside me to calculate your year card for the year 2020. But that particular book, Who Are You in the Tarot, also talks about soul cards and birth cards as well. And so to calculate your birth card, you would do your birth date, your birth month, your date, and the year that you were born in order to calculate your tarot constellation. And so you don't just have one card. You might have like the constellation of the High Priestess. So you would have the High Priestess, but then you would also have like a hidden factor card, which is kind of like your shadow self, like stuff that you have to work on. And then that also corresponds with the minor arcana. So I believe for the High Priestess, I believe the twos of the minor arcana would be part of that High Priestess constellation. So that's just working from memory, guys, because I don't know where my copy of Who Are You in the Tarot is right now. But yeah, so let me pull that one up. That one was a really interesting episode. And I believe that my year card was the Chariot for 2020, which I felt was a real up-leveling kind of year. but I thought that was going to be more about travel, that I was going to be traveling more in 2020. And that was completely not the right interpretation at all with the pandemic going on. So I talked a little bit about this in my IGTV episode that I do daily today earlier, about how sometimes a tarot card represents something else to you, and then in hindsight or after the fact, it maybe didn't make much sense during the reading, but then like a couple months later you're just like, oh my god, that's what that meant. So sometimes that meaning isn't revealed until much later when it's meant to be revealed. And I know that sounds woo-woo and silly, but at the same time, if you've worked with me before and you've had a card that doesn't make sense and we kind of like bash our heads against it and pull clarifying cards and it still doesn't make sense, I'll say, you know, like maybe this is not meant to make sense right now, but maybe it'll make sense later. And that's exactly what happens. So yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that, Dina. So Dina said, I am Chariot 2 for 2020, but what the fuck? Yeah, I know. We'll have to talk about that, right? So let me find this episode of the, so it was goal setting. That's the episode that you are thinking of. Katie, goal setting with the tarot. Yeah, Dina's saying, I hardly even drive in 2020. I know. I actually had to, I had my husband move my car the other day because I was just like, oh, does it have to be moved? I don't know. So it's this one, goal setting and your tarot year card for 2020. Welcome to another edition of tarot. Some major arcana cards will appear. I believe chapter 7 is about what missing cards can tell you about a reading. So the constellation of the High Priestess, if the High Priestess is your birth card, you also have those tarot cards associated with you, not just the High Priestess. So birth cards, we're not talking about birth cards this episode. We are talking about the year card. So the birth card, I believe, would be calculated much in the same way as you would calculate your year card, which we're going to talk about. But instead of putting in the year that you want the card for, you would put in your birth year. And then that way you can find out what your birth card means. So I am not going to read out loud all of the different, actually I can. But we'll use the people that are here live as examples very quickly so I can give you your information ahead of everybody else, and then I'll run through, if you have this number, it's this card, this number, this card. All right? Okay, so are we ready to calculate our 2020 tarot card of the year? Because, as Mary says, for each year of your life, you have a card from the major arcana called the year card. It represents the tests and lessons you experience in any given year. Some major arcana cards will appear as your year cards over and over, while others you will never get. The events that happen to you in any year offer the opportunity to master new skills and discover more about yourself and your needs. The year card points out what that learning will be about. It indicates the kind of archetypal energies that are constellated in that year, suggesting personal qualities you can work with, such as assertion, compassion, and relating. Knowing your year card makes you more aware of the overall situation at your disposal and the kinds of learning opportunities it presents during that year. So we're going to try and get ahead a little bit of the year 2020 to kind of see what the year 2020 is going to be for us based on our birth dates. So it's pretty simple. So Are we ready? So that involves a little bit of math and knowing your birth date. And it's basically addition in order to whittle down to the major arcana card. So I think it's zero. No, is it 2 through 21? I think you would be able to calculate. So check out that episode if you're interested in calculating your year card. And so you can use that information from that episode and just put in 2021 to find out your year card for next year, for 2021. I believe because, for example, I was a Chariot this year. Dina was also a Chariot. I believe it's just you're going up by 1. So I believe next year will be a Strength year if you associate Strength with the number 8, Major Arcana. So that does not thrill me. Because I have my issues with the Strength card. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, thanks for thinking of that episode. I enjoyed that episode as well. So Dina mentioned pretty much the one that was my favorite one, was not necessarily a favorite one because I liked it, but because it was very prescient after the fact, which was our, we did a live for, I believe it was in January or the middle of January, for a tarot reading for the collective for the year 2020, using the 13 Moons spread from the Wild Unknown spread cloth, spirit cloth, which is basically 13 cards, one for every card, one card for every month of the year, and then the 13th card in the middle is like the theme card for that year. So let me go ahead and pull up that episode for you guys. But then we did like, oh gosh, I think maybe it was in April or May. We all did a watch party and we rewatched it together to see like how the first couple of months of 2020 panned out and matched up to these cards. And it was kind of ridiculous and crazy how we interpreted the cards then, and then how we were interpreting the cards after the fact, knowing about the pandemic and everything that was happening in the world. So let me go ahead and pull that up. Absolutely. So the more you honor what your intuition is saying to you, or like listening to your intuition, the more it will continue to work for you. That's been my experience, because our intuition usually like talks to us in whispers so that it doesn't have to scream at us. And when it starts to scream at us, it's usually because we weren't paying attention to the whispers. So to me, this is like, pay attention to the whispers before they become screams. So thank you, Jamie, for contributing for the Queen of Cups. So what Dina is referring to is the Death card that came up reversed for the month of March, which is really when the pandemic started to like escalate rapidly and we were having closures and everyone started to work remotely. I remember it was March 18th, I believe, was when I started to work from home, and haven't been back to the office since. So some of the interpretations were incredibly prescient, and even more so after the fact when we were looking back on those particular months, and January in particular, what we just saw there, about the Queen of Cups and being intuitive and honoring your intuition in January before the whispers of your intuition have to become screams. So put that way through the lens of the pandemic, it was just an incredible reading. And that was not me. This is not me tooting my own horn. This was a reading that everyone did on that live. So everyone contributed to interpretations of these cards. So so that's all of us that did that work together, and it was a very powerful episode. Not necessarily it's one of my favorite episodes, but not for a great reason. Yes. Let's take a look. Let's count that. So. Yeah, and I do keep on looking back and seeing what was that? What was that card? So let me look. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. September is the Wheel of Fortune reversed. So let's take a look. Into the Wheel of Fortune, and it feels as if best reading for the collective ever, because we're all doing it. I love it. Thank you guys so much for participating in this. So that is the month of August. Big stuff going down in the month of August, astrologically as well. Dina, thank you for reminding me and pointing that out. Again, I'm not an astrologer. I know just enough astrology to be dangerous. You know that tarot's my main squeeze. So the month of September, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So this, again, is another simplistic version of the Wheel of Fortune. And again, I'm sorry that I'm coughing like a mofo. So the Wheel of Fortune is all about karma, destiny, fate. The wheel turns. When it's upright, it's usually that the wheel, like we're on an upswing, and when it's reversed, it's usually on a downswing. But what goes up must come down. What goes down must go up. So, you know, there is that cyclical nature to the Wheel of Fortune. But it also, with it being upright, it feels like a very like back to school energy, you know, like all is right with the world. I feel like there is this fire associated with this Wheel of Fortune because it's like a very bright Wheel of Fortune. It's like got oranges and reds and purples. And I feel like energetically, it's just like a mover and a shaker kind of month for the month of September. Like you've taken all of your lessons, all of your knowledge, and not only that, the star card and the moon card reversed, it's like that energetic oomph just feeds right into the Wheel of Fortune, and it feels as if like you could go anywhere and do anything for the month of September. So Dina says, so energetically vibrating like the wheel in the quantum field. Yeah, exactly. Katie says the wheel looks like one of the spinning discs. And Jamie says, I saw Resident Evil's Umbrella Corporation in this card's image. LOL. Yeah, a little bit. Maybe they have a new Resident Evil game coming out in September. This could be our indication. I don't know.
Or maybe there's a pandemic going on.
So Jamie says, September, with the year coming to a close, it's time to acknowledge and honor the season and your own cycles and periods. Yeah. Especially if you are a pagan. Remember what I was saying before. Our witch's new year is October 31st. So this would be for September. So, yeah. I like this one, though. It feels like a very carnival-esque atmosphere with the Wheel of Fortune. And sometimes in different decks, like my friend Courtney Weber's Tarot of the Burrows, they use the Wonder Wheel from
Oh my goodness. So I'm going to stop that episode. So that is the 2020 tarot reading for the collective. And I mean, I'm just seeing this here. I'll probably go and confirm, but I'm sure you're right. So what was I saying at the top of the episode about watching out for big news, right? For the astrology. Something big was going to happen. And it's sad to hear. Oh, it's supposed to be a celebratory episode, but shit happens, right? The world's on fire, guys. The world's on fire. All right. Are there any other episodes that people can think of that we want to revisit? Or are we ready for one card tarot polls if people are interested? Or if not, I can just do the weekend forecast. Up to you guys. "87 years old. Rest in peace. We need more women like her. We need to be more like her." I mean, I'll put it out there if people are looking for one card polls. If people have specific questions that they would like a one card reading on, please go ahead and put that in the chat, and we'll give that about a minute or so. If not, we will move right on to the weekend forecast. So. So let me get, where is my usual Jeopardy theme. So of course I deleted that. Put in your questions now. All right. Let's go. Okay, so Lisa was first. So what do I need to do to facilitate getting a vehicle? So I'm going to be pulling from the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith deck. What do I need to do to facilitate getting a vehicle? I think exactly what you've been doing so far. I mean, I know it's been really frustrating, and I mean, I know, guys, I know Lisa personally, but what you've been doing, I know it's been frustrating, but keep on walking away from anything that doesn't feel right to you. The Eight of Cups is about walking away from an emotionally charged situation. I know you want your own wheels of your own. I know that you've come close to getting them, but something kind of falls through, or something's not quite right, or you're just like, no, I know I know that there's a better car out there for me. And that's what's been pushing you to walk instead of going towards. You're like walking away, and you are kind of chastising yourself about it. It's just like, well, what's wrong with me, or why can't I just settle? This is not something that you want to settle on. So does that make sense to you? I mean, I think I've said this to you before with like without the cards, but like this definitely is a card of like using your instincts and using your intuition, and taking that high road. I mean, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, and it's going to take a little bit more time, but I think that it's going to be worth the effort, because you don't want to give this short shrift, because then you might get a lemon, and you just don't want that. So good. So Dina asks, what does the universe want us to know about the election? All right. I mean, I'll do my best. Well, I don't really know how to interpret this, so I'm just going to riff on it and see what we get here. So we've got the Ace of Swords coming up, and to me, that is about like the truth winning out and communication, and also new beginnings. So it feels to me that there might be a changeover in leadership, that the incumbent may not win. But I don't know if that's necessarily wishful thinking on my part. But I do believe that the Ace of Swords does indicate new beginnings, does indicate clear communication, and also the truth, like using that big ass sword of truth above all, to cut through any kind of bullshit, because like I think that's the issue right now is I don't want to say it, but I kind of want to say it. Like the whole selling point with the current president was just like, oh, well, he tells it like it is. And he, da, 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 da. And it's just like, so I don't know. As I'm going to pull another card for this. Getting the Two of Pentacles as well. So it's just like, it's, I guess, like our system, I guess, is trying to right itself, but I don't necessarily know if it's going to right itself in the right way, so to speak. Like the Two of Pentacles to me is talking about, I guess, the two-party system. Personally, I don't think the two-party system has been working for our country so far. I think it's been getting in the way more so than anything. So it's like, it's kind of a confusing message between these two cards. I know that the truth will out eventually, but I also have that phrase that's in my mind about oh gosh, I'm not going to be able to get it right, but like the arm of justice is long, like the arc of justice is long. So it feels as if like things are not righting themselves in the time frame that we like want them to be righted by. So it's like the arc of justice is long and hopefully turns toward justice, So yeah, truth, justice, and the American way. But whose American way, right? So there you go. I hope that helps. And And Katie's absolutely right. Everyone should vote. Don't trust the pre-election polls. Exactly. I'm just feeling like I can't make any decisions. So what does the universe want me to know? I have no idea what I should be doing. Is there any particular focus? Is this more career, this emotional place, or just in general? What does the universe want me to know? I mean, which is an excellent question to ask if you don't know what to ask. What does the tarot, what do I most need to know right now? Okay. Well, career, but general. Okay. Well, I already pulled the card, so stop me if I'm wrong, or stop me if it doesn't make any sense. But so you're getting the Queen of Pentacles. And to me, my first thought when I saw this card reversed is that it's just like, stop trying to monetize everything that brings you joy. And this is actually kind of piggybacking on what my friend Melissa Sonova said in her Hey Sonova advice column video today. But I feel like it's particularly resonant for this particular card in your question, which is like, you know, don't try and monetize your creativity, because then you're going to like just suck the joy out of life. I know that's not exactly what she said, but I'm paraphrasing here, because like Queen of Pentacles, it's just like, it feels as if like you're taking stuff that brings you joy and you're trying to translate it in such a way that it's like, it turns into a business, but it's like, it's suffocating you. It's suffocating your creativity. It's suffocating your spirit, you know? And it's not necessarily like, you can find work that brings you joy, but like, don't try and like take your joy and make it into work. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to pull another card just to clarify. And I'm getting the Knight of Wands reversed as well. It's just like focus. I understand why you're asking this question, because like these two cards are like super, super unfocused with the reversals. And I feel as if you're like trying to do too much right now. And that's the reason why you're feeling so scattered, because you've got your eggs in so many different baskets that you feel like you can't actually focus on one particular thing. So as much as you can within your career, start to strip things down to focusing on one thing at a time, instead of like scattering yourself, because it does feel as if like you're monetizing your creative spirit, and instead it's gonna suffocate it rather than like helping you grow. So yeah, I think that's it. I can't get any more out of these two cards. They're like, nope, you're done. I hope that helps, Katie. Dina's also commenting, maybe Katie needs to daydream. Yeah, I mean, and just daydream for daydream's sake. You know, like there's like when I was younger, I wanted to do everything, like, and I mean like 10 years old, where I wanted to create like a zine, and I wanted to be an editor-in-chief, and I wanted to do like, I would make magazines, like for the after school program that I went to, which was basically like childcare after school, called the Children's Center. And I would make these magazines, and I would like make photocopies, and I would give them to anyone who listened, and I would like try to make myself a news staff, and you know, and I would try to monetize these things that brought me joy, and in the end they just brought me pain, and I ended up like being a total little not anarchist, dictator. Just like a little dictator, and just like, no, you need to sell these magazines, and they were awful. They were all like piecemeal. And I just remember that really strongly. And I remember starting to hate something that I previously loved. So like, yeah, don't do that. There you go. I love daydreaming. It's my release, LOL. So like daydream without it having to go anywhere, without it having to translate into anything else than just daydreaming. I think that will probably help the situation a little bit because we all need our releases. We all need our rest and recuperation. And I think daydreaming is a really big part of it. It's not shameful. All right. I think I've covered everybody's questions. Yes? Did I? Let me know. Are there any other episodes that come to mind that you want to revisit? Or are we ready to wrap up with the weekend forecast and this anniversary episode of Tarot by Hilary Live? And also, I do want to remind people, if this is your first time watching, or your 70th time watching, or your 35th time watching, that I am available for one-on-one tarot consultations over phone, over Skype, over email. No in-person readings at this time because of the pandemic. But I promise you, we did an entire episode on how to do online readings, and they are just as accurate and just as in-depth as an in-person reading. And I honestly don't understand why people are just like so adamant about that in-person reading kind of thing. Like, it's a pandemic, guys. You know, like, I don't want you touching my cards. I don't want you breathing on me. I don't need like the close quarters of a tarot reading, which is normally like I'm up in there with that person and we're sitting side by side and we're looking at the cards together. I'm not doing that in a pandemic, but I can do it over the phone. I can do it over Skype, and I can do email readings as well. So you can go ahead and book a reading with me at tarotbyhilary.com. That is Hilary with one L. And I probably am not going to be opening up to in-person sessions until at least next year, as in 2021, at the earliest. So we'll see how things go. Are we ready for the weekend forecast? Say yes in the comments. Let me know. Because I think I'm not going to do a tarot card weekend forecast. I'm going to do an oracle deck weekend forecast. And while I'm waiting for the yes or no's in the comment section, just to let you know what I'm wearing currently, because people were asking about my eyes and, you know, my makeup and everything. So I am wearing magnetic false eyelashes. Yes, they actually do work. And I am a dunce about these things. So this is the second time that I'm wearing the false eyelashes. They are magnetic. It's a magnetic liner. And then you wait for it to dry, and then you just apply the eyelashes, and that's it. They just snap right on, and they pull right off. And they're like up to, let me see, up to 30 wears per pair. So they work, guys. They work. So I'm wearing the wifey lashes from Moxie Lash. And last time I wore the happy lashes, which I don't know. I think I kind of like both of them. Definitely make a statement, right? And so they come in this little box here, and see the little dots here? Those are actually magnets to keep them in place when they're not in use. So yeah, they work. They work. I do not get any kickbacks. I just like to shout out products that actually work, that actually do what they say they're going to do. So so I'll probably get more from this company. Maybe more subtle ones. Because like this is a lot. Like I'm trying to get used to it, but it's like I'm blinking a lot. My eyes are really wide because they're kind of itchy. But they're fine for like a Zoom session or for a workshop like this. So yay. Yeah, thank you guys. And then what the makeup that I'm wearing oh gosh, is it Urban Decay? Urban Decay Naked 3 palette for the eyeshadows. Both of the eyeshadows. The main one, like that I'm using as a base, and then the lid one. Those are both from Urban Decay's Naked 3 palette, which is kind of like a rose gold kind of palette. Yeah. What else? And then the Urban Decay primer underneath. Bare Minerals or Bare Essentials lipstick, and brow stuff from Benefit Cosmetics. So there you go. That's the rundown. And my hair is done by Overtone color depositing conditioner. It actually works, and I've been using the daily conditioner now, which is very purple, and I keep on forgetting to wear gloves, so then I stained my hands purple, and then I have to use like rubbing alcohol to basically get the color off, but it works. So there you go. That's my look for today, in case anyone was wondering. So are we ready for the weekend forecast? I guess so. I think so. All right. Let me go to the crawler. So I am going to be pulling from the Starseed Oracle, which is by Rebecca Campbell and Daniel Noel. Daniel Noel actually did the artwork for the Star Child Tarot and the Moonchild Tarot, and this is their second Oracle deck collaboration. Their first Oracle deck collaboration was the Work Your Light Oracle deck, which is also beautiful as well. Oh, okay. That's good to know, because I know Lisa's been using the Overtone as well. I found that the daily conditioner comes off your skin with soap and water. Well, I tried to do that, but I guess I really lathered it on. Like I put on a lot. So I don't know if you're using the purple for brown hair as well. I think you are. So, but that's the stuff that I got to be able to maintain like my roots, and then all the rest of this was just like the extreme purple. So there's like two different types. Anyway, enough. Enough of that. Let's go to the weekend forecast. Oh. All right. Okay. So sometimes this deck is a little bit woo-woo, and I know I'm saying this as a tarot reader, but still. So let me look this up. So remember that an oracle deck is a different structure to the tarot, and it's all its own structure unto itself. So it doesn't follow the tarot deck structure because it's not a tarot deck, it's an oracle deck. So this is page 70. So because it's its own structure unto itself, I always go to the companion book for an oracle deck, and then I'll give you my own interpretation of the card, okay? So we are getting the Golden Children, inner child, tenderness, innocence, and rare gifts. So can you see that? Really pretty card. Actually, let me put back up my overlay. I miss my overlay with my stars. Okay. That's better. I feel better. I feel right. I feel right now. So I'll hold this up while I'm reading. So the Golden Children, children of the sun, are highly advanced, extremely intelligent souls who are incarnating increasingly on planet Earth. I told you guys, it's woo-woo. They have little or no personal karma and possess incredible gifts and intuitive abilities. Golden children are born with a very clear mission. Many remember it from a young age and begin answering it and sharing it early in life. Due to their unique intelligence, they may find themselves easily bored at school. Most have never incarnated on Earth before, and so, if they're not supported in the right ways, they struggle with physical life here. They're often referred to as the new humans, quote unquote. If you pull this card, it may be a sign that you're being called to mother, father, or nurture a child. You may be called to tend to your own inner child, a creative idea or project, or a new beginning. To treat yourself or the new beginning with sweet, tender love, to nurture and nourish it, to give it every chance to grow and reach adulthood, to encourage it, to water it, to see the world through the innocence of a child, to see yourself and all others as innocent children, to remember that deep down, everyone is trying their best, and if they're treated with a tender heart, they'll not harden as they journey through this great adventure called life. So, wow, that's kind of deep. So the inquiry is, how can you treat yourself or others more tenderly? So remember that this is the weekend forecast. So as usual, I will kind of interpret or riff a little bit off of this particular card, give my own interpretation. I don't know if I necessarily agree with golden children and, you know, new humans, et cetera, et cetera. That's not kind of my verbiage. But I do appreciate tending to your inner child. I do appreciate tenderness and innocence, and remembering that even if you're jaded, even if you're just like, well, there's no way this person is doing the best they can. I'm just reminded of this whole thing that Brene Brown said about going back or looking back on different incidents and saying, well, did they do the best that they could at that time? And the answer usually is yes. Like you can't expect somebody to do their best from your sense of your best. They can only do their best, which may be different than your best. Does that make sense to everyone? So remembering that this weekend, and remembering to treat everyone with tenderness, with love, to recognize that we all were once children, that we all have the same basic needs that need to be met, such as love, respect, forgiveness, validation. I think that this weekend might be a little bit difficult, a little bit hard. You may be feeling a little bit raw, and just remembering to treat yourself with that tenderness. And to be kind to others, not necessarily nice. Not a big fan of the word nice, but I am a big fan of the word kind. So be kind this weekend, especially be kind to yourself and be kind to others. So that's the weekend forecast. And I hope that helps everybody. And I think that's it, folks. I think we're good. I think we did it. I think we celebrated the anniversary episode of Tarot by Hilary live. Can't believe it that we've been doing this for a year, and hopefully another year or another 2 years or another 3 years to come of weekly live episodes. So yeah, that is it. Let me just remind everybody when we do this thing. So we do this every Friday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I thank all of you for watching. Thank you for joining me. Thank you if you are a regular viewer or a first-time viewer. If you're not watching this live, but you're watching the replay, I hope these messages are hitting you exactly when you need to hear them, exactly when you're able to absorb them and hear them the most. Thank you, Lisa, Katie, Dina. Who else was in here? Brooke, I think, was in here before as well. Thank you all so much for watching. Dylan as well. You're so welcome. No, thank you. Thank you. So congratulations. Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend, everybody. And thank you. Thank you. I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. I mean, what is a talk show host without an audience, right? So thank you all very much. Don't know what next episode is going to be, but I do know it's going to be on Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you have any suggestions for future episodes, please go ahead and let me know. Even if you want to revisit a past episode and you want me to do a part 2 with more information, happy to oblige you. Until then, I am Hilary, professional tarot reader, demystifying the mystical and putting you all in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition, because yes, my friend, don't argue with me. You have intuition. Have a beautiful,